MCU has obtained the rights to use digital cameos of Stan Lee for the next 20 years, but fans argue it's time that we let him rest. Stan Lee's personnel manager dropped the news during a convention appearance in September 2017, 14 months before his death, revealing that he had pre-taped guest roles for no fewer than 5 future Marvel Studios films. Let's find out how this saga goes down in the forever expanding Marvel universe. First up, Stan Lee's transformation to a symbol. Marvel announced a 20-year agreement with Stan Lee Entertainment, which handles the name and appearance of the late comics author Stan Lee, to use his name, voice, and impressive sign in a wide range of uses, including but not confined to movies and TV shows, amusement parks, goodies, and unrevealed experiences. Andrew Hayward, CEO of Genius Brands, one of 2 businesses behind Stan Lee Entertainment, stated that the agreement assures that Stan will live on through digital media, archival film, and other formats in the most significant places, Marvel films and Disney amusement parks. Let us be sure about one thing. Throughout his career, Stan Lee was deeply invested in the transformation of himself from an individual to a symbol. It dates back to the early days of Marvel, way before he would be invited to appear as a cameo in nearly every film, even vaguely connected to superhero comics, when he'd depict himself and other Marvel independent writers and employees as wisecracking cartoon characters in writings and comic strips alike. When he decided to walk away from actively writing in the mid-1970s, a company-wide executive order was implemented so that every comic strip would start with a logo featuring a version of his iconic sign that read "Stan Lee Presents." Stan Lee's finest achievement after co-creating Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Hulk, the Avengers, and the X-Men was quite certainly Stan Lee. Next, we have the history of Marvel Comics. In the late 1960s, Lee was the chief editor and writer of Marvel Comics, where he, together with creators like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, spearheaded the development of superheroes that are today the premise for the world's largest blockbusters. He also became the firm's ever-smiling public face, a position he kept for decades, regardless of the changes in his actual work title and duties. And even after he formally left the company, Lee managed to find himself back in the modern cultural limelight in the 21st century thanks to cameo appearances. First in Marvel-based productions such as Fox Studios' X-Men and Sony's Spider-Man series, and subsequently in Marvel Studios' ever-growing list of successes. By the time he died, people who had never read a comic strip felt a connection to him and looked forward to his heartwarming comedic parts. And now for Lee's reincarnation. Despite the clear quips about this being how Lee spent his time here on Earth, the thought that Lee will be stuck in an eternity marketing Marvel productions for, at minimum, the next 2 decades is disturbingly morbid. Lee's reincarnation is different from artificial renditions of stars such as Peter Cushing or Carrie Fisher in Disney's Star Wars films, or posthumous holograms of deceased rappers appearing at Coachella. Each of those examples, though disturbing and needless, were tributes and recreations of their subjects' work, with genuine bits of that work used to make the digital shows. This, on the other hand, is merely an extension of Lee's years-long transition into nothing more than a corporate puppet, capitalizing on fan sentimentality and past appreciation to convince audiences that what they're seeing on screen has the stamp of approval of the self-described House of Ideas original generation, except now with much less authority or insight than Lee could offer when he was alive. Lastly, Stan Lee lives through Marvel, or does he? Lee's passing in late 2018 was heartbreaking, especially for all of those who knew him best, but it did finally put an end to a tough, tragic chapter in his life. In his later years, allegations of abuse and neglect began to circulate, even as his public perception rose perhaps higher than ever. Many Marvel stans, pun intended, who were truly excited to have him on the big screen in each subsequent MCU installment didn't recognize the authentic Stan Lee, but instead recognized a persona as fictitious as any other member of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Stan Lee, who will live on via Marvel films and Disney theme parks, was never genuinely alive to begin with. The actual Stan Lee deserves to be recognized as more than a programmed character, ready to market anything the company requires. Next in other news, I Am Groot promo released. Groot, the talking tree guy voiced by Vin Diesel, who could only only utter three, well, technically four, syllables have been with us for over a decade since the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Though Groot later sacrificed himself in that film and has since regrown to the age of a teen by the time Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame occur, it was Guardians 2's sickeningly adorable baby Groot who resonated with people. And because Disney adores a cute-looking companion that can constantly be exploited to sell goods, they want you to remember him as a teeny little tree child. As a result, I Am Groot, a new series of shorts, will rewind the clock to the GOT-G 2 days to show baby Groot having his escapades, apparently while the remainder of the Guardians do the hard work. Marvel has unveiled the first cover for the miniseries, which depicts Groot listening to Peter Quill's Walkman while two small CG creatures stand nearby, undoubtedly planning to give him trouble and attempt to out-cute him. It also provides us with the series' release date, August 10. This puts it only a week before the release of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. With this cover, perhaps we'll get a trailer soon, simply to see what degree of devilish charm the series will operate on. And now for a new look at She-Hulk. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, a new upcoming Disney Plus series set inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, will premiere in August. The show will bring Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, Tatiana Maslany to a completely new generation of fans. And after the first teaser trailer created a big impact in May, there's a lot of anticipation about what she'll eventually look like as She-Hulk. A new line of She-Hulk promotional art has recently revealed a new hint of that, with stylized glimpses of Maslany as both the normal Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk. One of the prints even resembles the cover of the Savage She-Hulk #1, the character's debut comic book appearance. Jennifer Walters in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, explores the challenging lives of a single 30-ish attorney who also manages to be a green 6'7" superpowered Hulk. Previous MCU characters Smart Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, Emil Blonsky the Abomination, Tim Roth, and Wong, Benedict Wong, reprised their roles in the 9-episode series. Ginger Gonzaga, Josh Segarra, Jamila Jamil, John Bass, and Renee Elise Goldsberry make up the rest of the main cast and will be making their Marvel Universe debut. All of the new posters show Jennifer Walters suited professionally, but not as She-Hulk. The idea is how one half of her is all work, while the other is all play. But both the trailer and poster suggest that her actual Jennifer Walters personality won't be the only one battling in court or having fun. As a result, the struggle Walters will face is unlikely to be superficial. It isn't as easy as battling crime as a superhero and protecting the rule of law. The contrast between the two identities will always be a centerpiece for any Hulk. However, Walters is in a unique scenario, which she doesn't lose herself as Banner did. She is just as much in charge regardless of appearance. Finally, we have Miss Marvel. First 2 episodes reviewed. Miss Marvel, the newest TV series entry into the MCU, gives rise to a superhero and a celebrity. The protagonist is Pakistani-American teen Kamala Khan, Marvel's first Muslim main character, whose solo comic series debuted in 2014. The miniseries depicts her background narrative, diverging from the source but also humanizing it. Iman Vellani stars in her debut acting role, which is incredible considering her charm, quick wit, and dramatic abilities in every sequence. Her second appearance will be in the next Marvel film, The Marvels, a sequel to Captain Marvel that will center on the exploits of Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and our very own Miss Marvel. Normally, one would be worried about a young actor, but Vellani looks so destined for the purple that you somehow have to shrug and just say that it's her fate. The show itself, with just 2 episodes out right now for review, so far it's fantastic. The plot at this point seems thin at the time. It's an authentic coming-of-age narrative as well as a superhero origin story. Kamala, 16, is an artist, YouTuber, and enthusiastic fan of the Avengers overall, and Captain Marvel in particular. We meet her as she is eagerly recounting her most recent animated tale about them. The whole show is full of warmth, humor, sincerity, panache, and sincerity. One can't help but love the animated graffiti that springs up as Kamala and her energetic imagination go by. It's just very refreshing. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about Lee's transformation to a symbol in Marvel? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.